So coming from South China Morning Post, how South Korea's AI mega projects aim to maintain edge over China and meet demand. I think this is kind of an interesting story to look at. Basically, when you start asking the question of when will DRAM prices actually come down to a reasonable level again? And this kind of, like I say, when you take a look at this story, is kind of the proof I've been talking about for why even when the AI bubble goes boom, the reality is that there is so much inertia behind it that I think it's still going to be a drain on investment and resources and a whole bunch of things going far into the future. One of the big issues we have right now with the whole AI fraud issue is it's not only that investors have dived into this insanity. It's not just that the big corporations have dived in this insanity, but it's kind of like the entire world has become, I don't know, hopped up on artificial intelligence. And one of the big things is all of these governments who are now clamoring for their own artificial intelligence resources, right? So we hear this out of Europe now, we hear this out of UK, the United States, obviously, China, obviously, Japan. Basically, there is this idea, right? Artificial intelligence is more dangerous than nuclear weapons. And so everybody wants their nuclear weapon. The problem is it isn't. And so what's going to happen is when all of these countries are simultaneously trying to hyperscale their AI infrastructure, it is just simply going to create like the weirdest kind of glut. It's gonna be both a glut and starvation at the same time. I think about this with I was reading a book talking about that with the Great Depression, right? And there was a certain point during the Great Depression where out in Oklahoma and Kansas and those kind of states where there was so much food out there, right? Basically, the farmers had produced all of this food. At the exact same time in the cities, people were going hungry. And the issue is the food ended up rotting out in the countryside because the financial system had fallen apart. Even though you have hungry people here and you have more food than people know what to do with here, right? Because the financial system fell apart, there was no effective way to connect the two. So you had the farmers going bankrupt and you had the city people starving when the resources existed for that to not happen. What I kind of think is interesting here when we look at this whole AI disaster is so we're getting this massive glut of investment into AI hyperscaling infrastructure. But because of that, the vendors of hardware cannot keep up with the demand for this hyperscaled AI infrastructure. So all of their supply is going to this insanity at the exact same time everybody else who needs computer hardware and that type of thing is no longer able to access it at a reasonable price. So basically, in order to hyperscale one sector of the tech industry, we are starving the sector of the tech industry that actually matters, to be honest with you. That actually matters a little bit more. And I think what's interesting here is taking a look at South Korea and what they're planning to do. It just shows how much money is on the table and that there is so much inertia behind this that even when OpenAI fails, even when people start questioning Anthropic, even when things fall apart, it's gonna be very difficult to stop this particular freight train. Let's see here. South Korea's US $518 billion semiconductor push aims to transform the AI boom into a durable industrial advantage and keep up with leading rival China, according to observers. So understand with this, right? So China is creating their own AI stack, right? The US is creating its own AI stack. Europe's going to create its own AI stack. And South Korea is dumping 518 billion, right, in order to keep up with China. Right. Notice how everybody is just building more and more artificial intelligence. The plan is intended to secure supplies of advanced memory chips needed for AI data centers and computing infrastructure while easing pressure on the Seoul metropolitan area by creating a second major chipmaking base in the country's southwest. President on Monday unveiled the government's, quote, three mega projects initiative centered on semiconductors, AI data centers, and physical AI such as robotics and autonomous systems as part of a strategy to turn South Korea into a global technology powerhouse. And that's one of the big things you hear from all of the politicians. All of the politicians agree. Our country is going to become superior because we're going to control AI. And it's like, no, but you can't all control AI. It's not how globalization works. That's not how globalization. It's not how any of this works. Somebody is really good at AI, and somebody's really good at cars, and somebody's good at building ships. When everybody is every country agrees that they have to be the best at artificial intelligence. Let's see here. Under the plan, Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix will invest a combined $518 billion in the southwestern region to establish a second major semiconductor production hub alongside the emerging Yongin semiconductor cluster near Seoul. Separately, SK Group, GS Group, and Naver and other companies are set to also invest a total of 550 trillion won, so I don't know, $400 billion by 2029 to build large-scale AI data centers nationwide. Because if there's one thing the world needs more of, it's AI data centers. The government said it would support the initiative by providing essential infrastructure, including power, water, and industrial sites, and plans to offer discounted electricity rates for AI data centers. Quote, these mega projects represent South Korea's efforts to maintain its technological edge in semiconductors over China and other competitors, said Park Jae-gun, semiconductor expert at University. He said sustained investment in research and development was essential to preserving technological leadership, requiring strong government support through infrastructure such as reliable water and power supplies, as well as targeted policy initiatives. And this is one of my questions too with this whole thing about leadership. And the whole question of, is leadership at what cost? I think about this. I had a buddy of mine back when I used to do martial arts. Oh, I had a buddy. He was an engineer. Anyways, we would sit there and have a beer every once in a while. There would be like TV would be on. And like every once in a while, he'd just point up and go like, "That's mine." I'd be like, "What?" He'd go, "That's mine." Basically, he built that. It was like that was his thing that he did. Like, and you'd just be sitting there having a beer. You're like, "That's mine. I did that." Anyways, what was cool? He ran hard. Like he was just going so hard, so fat. Like he was 37 years old. His hair was already gray. He was already taking B12 shots. Literally, I talked to him one day. He had already written his will for what he was going to leave his mother. Like he literally expected to not live longer than his mother. He was running himself so hard as an executive. And this is one of the whole questions that I have in life with people like with leadership. Like I have to maintain leadership. And one of the questions you have to ask yourself is like at what cost? Like so South Korea has to maintain leadership at the cost of, possibly destroying society. Possibly. Hey, when our society falls apart, we will be the best in this particular field. And I think that's one of the things more people need to start thinking about a little bit more. Like, okay, you can be a leader, but is it worth it? Is it getting you to where do you want to go? Oh, let's see here. Samsung and SK Hynix, in cooperation with the government, have decided to expand production of AI memory chips at a much faster pace amid global supply shortages, Park said. Quote, this move will help advance the world's next industrial revolution through AI. Because everything is an industrial revolution through AI. Global demand for memory chips is currently running at roughly twice available supply, a gap Park expects to widen to 2.5 times by 2035 as AI adoption accelerates. So right now, demand is running at twice the supply. This guy thinks it's going to get to 2.5 times supply by 2035. Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix currently operate about 15 semiconductor fabrication plants across South Korea and are building 10 additional fabs in Yongin, originally scheduled for completion by 2045. Industry and Trade Minister said on Monday that the two companies plan to complete those projects at least 7 years ahead of schedule to gain an advantage in the global, quote, race against time. Now, you hear this 7 years ahead ahead of schedule, and that sounds good. But it's 2045. Basically, these fabs, these 10 fabs, are going to be up and running in 2038. Oh, thank golly. We can see the end of the tunnel. We just have to wait till, 2038, and we will be out of this mess, which again is another kind of weird thing. You hear about we need to have leadership. You hear about, oh, the speed that everything has to go by, and then it's like, oh, they're gonna complete those fabs, in another 12 years. Yay! I guess that's a good thing. So, anyways, more and more money is going to be dumped into all of this kind of thing. And we're going to see where it works out at the end of the day. And this is why I keep hammering home, unlike the article we talked about before with Accenture. So Accenture is a global consulting company. They've been pushing their clients onto to use AI systems for the past couple of years. And Accenture literally came out and said the executives that they're dealing with do not see a demonstrable value out of the AI that they're using, right? And this is Accenture. And one of the things we see time and time again is that we're simply not, we are told, we are told this technology is going to, again, revolutionize the world. It's going to cure disease. It's going to solve science and the whole nine yards. And instead, when you look at what we're getting, it's not that there is no value there. To be clear, it's not that there's no value there, but it's just not that valuable. And I think that's where, as I've said many times before, my frustration with all this, comes from. And so now we're seeing basically every country that can build their own AI tech stacks is trying to. This is going to lead to an absolutely insane glut, and we will see where it all goes. So what do you think about this? What do you think about Korea putting somewhere between 500 and 900 billion dollars into building out their AI infrastructure, their AI plans? What do you think about them, again, talking about supply is at two times what, or demand is at what, two times at what supply currently is? They think that's going to go to 2.5 times by 2035. They're out there, they're building fabs. Hey, only another 12 years, those fabs will be online. Does it make you feel a little bit better to be able to see the end of the tunnel? If you have binoculars on and you squint really hard. I don't know. Put your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you like these episodes, do remember they're on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. Link is down below. Also, if you want to follow me on LinkedIn, there's a link down there too. With that, see y'all later.